Going on, everybody? Welcome to the DNA Digital Nerd Alliance, where anime, video games, and anything else you can think of the nerd kingdom just runs and flows through the DNA. I'm JP, and alongside me, as always, the bad guy, or I'm the bad guy. The asshole is right over here, Mister Mizzle, and we got a lot to talk about today. Some news in the MCU world, or Disney in total, but Marvel especially getting hit by it. Huge layoffs
Oh,
in the Marvel world. Uh, Disney uh, got a new CEO, and his first line of business was to lay off uh, the entire visual effects team. For the Marvel Universe, we're talking over 1,000 people getting laid off. We're talking like award-winning visual effects program that's
wow.
been completely gutted. Let's see it, comicsbeat.com. Uh, see, 1,000 people laid off, most notably the entire visual development team in Marvel Studios. Um, According to the Wrap, the marketing and publicity departments were also hit hard, including Asad Ayaz, the company's chief marketing and brand officer, and Dustin Sandoval, the senior VP of the global
Wow.
digital market. Disney disputed that Marvel's layoffs compromised 8% of the workforce, telling the Wrap that it was much less. The Beat has also confirmed that multiple sources that Marvel Comics experienced layoffs, but they have not confirmed the extent to who was involved. Um, Media sites who asked about the layoffs at Marvel were told that it was because of an overall reduction in Marvel's film and television production slate, which further efficiency or quote unquote further efficiencies from the integration of Marvel Entertainment into Marvel Studios and a focus on the overall operational efficiency and cost management. Um,
Hmm.
Losing goes on to say losing the artists and creative and visual development, the concept artists as they were once known. It's a brutal blow to the actual creative people who worked at Marvel. However, the staff had been overinflated, quote unquote, over the years when the MCU was churning out 4 or 5 TV shows and movies a year. The output has been drastically reduced as the MCU era is really ending. Interesting.
Really?
Um, Newly installed Disney CEO, and I hate that he has the same name as I do, Josh D'Amaro, used the term technologically enabled workforce um, while announced the cuts in a letter to the staff. And well, yeah, getting fired by fucking email or letter is bullshit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, fueling the fears that the
Oh.
cuts are based on AI replacing humans. Um,
Uh-oh.
so
Uh,
considering, and goes on to say, considering that the Fantastic Four movie was considered something of a squib and came under fire for allegedly using AI in its marketing materials, um, the idea would be extremely foolish if it was implemented. Um, So it sounds like Disney, when it comes to visual effects, is going to be leaning highly on AI,
Yep.
which I'm that would be. Now look, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite
Hmm.
because a lot of the stuff that I use for for our visuals, for our shirts and stuff like that, I use AI. I do, but
Well, that causes for
mostly
that.
the, there's a reason for that. One, the amount of money and systems and stuff that it's not that my creativity isn't there. I have the brain power for it. I just don't have the money nor the time to be able to do said projects because if I were to do a lot of the projects and the logos and stuff like that that I've done by myself, each one would be taking forever to get done.
Yes.
So for myself, look, if I had a creative team, if I had the money to pay people to do the creative stuff and everything, then I would do that.
Absolutely.
But I don't have that kind of money within the reins of what I have and what I can do, and you just got to be realistic with things. And but outside of that, when it comes to when you're a $1 billion company and you have the means to be able to pay creative artists to be able to get things done for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you decide to go in the direction of AI, that is a greedy move and a half. You are cutting all of the award-winning artists
Mm-hmm.
so that you yourself. Uh-oh, hang on. Uh, Cat's having a hairball. I didn't want it. But it's like when you're a $1 billion company that has the means to be able to have the creative artists and do. I mean, that's what makes all of this like visually fantastic. This is what makes everything impressive, is the fact that
Yes.
you have these creative artists
Yes.
doing all of this work. Now, we all know AI isn't perfect, and there's a lot of I mean, visually, when it gets it right, certain things can look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to sit here and convince me that you're going to basically use AI to run your entire show or movie? Like,
That doesn't seem fitting.
not at all.
None.
It's just, and it sounds like oh, it's for cost effectiveness, or is it to put more money into the CEO's bank account?
Oh, of course, it's the CEO bank account. I mean, come on now. It's the old saying: the rich stay richer. So he cut cost effects to keep money in his pocket. It just sounds fair, right? Just
it,
sounds
it
right.
it's just, to me, it's just, I mean, greed in this country is already rampant enough as it is.
Mm.
And stuff like this just adds more fuel to the fire. I would not be surprised. I mean, because I just got this news. Wife sent me that this morning, confirmed it and everything, going like, yeah, I saw this post, looked it up, confirmed it. Yeah, yeah, this is what happened. And I'm reading it up and I'm going like, geez, man, that many people getting laid off
Yeah.
via letter or email, only to be basically told that they're going to go in a more technological route, which is uh, uh,
Asinine.
is big business term for we're going to be using AI from here on out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised within the next few days you have some sort of strike or some sort of protest um going, towards Disney and really towards anybody else, because this is one thing, especially AI wise, this is one thing that people have been fearing for a long time already. Ever
Yep.
since like the real kind of introduction of AI started coming in, people started realizing, oh shit, AI is going to be coming for jobs. They're, whether it's creative or physical or what. I mean, there are certain things that AI just cannot do. They can't physically build anything yet. Um, Once they get we're going to be living in the iRobot world pretty goddamn soon at this rate. Um, but it's just, it sucks because people can say, oh, well, you need to have creativity in order to use AI. To a certain extent, you do, in the sense of you need to be able to think it and
Mm-hmm.
put it down either in the system for it to come up with whatever it is. Now, if you have an idea and it pops up, cool. That's a creative thought. That's how most of these, billionaire guys like Elon Musk, can he physically create, like, make something? Fuck no, he can't. But he has the brain power to think of it and the money to, here, I have this idea, create it for me, type of thing. Most of the, big techie billionaires and really all of that kind of stuff, they're all just idea makers. And
Yes.
everything gets made by the little guy. So it's one of those things where it's, yeah, this is going to definitely put a damper on things, especially you're doing this now when you're in the you just started pre-production on Secret Wars.
Yes.
You're still putting up the finishing touches on Doomsday,
Yes.
and you completely basically get rid of your entire visual effects department.
Yeah, something ain't adding up.
I mean, I swear to God, if Doomsday and Secret Wars and stuff, it becomes primarily AI driven, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be. It's not going to be very good. It's definitely going to put a damper on a lot of things. It's definitely going to make things look uh, not as clean as people may think. I mean, as far as AI has come, it's one of those things that it's still nowhere near perfect. Even with the AI things that I've done with some of the logos and stuff like that, and that shit doesn't happen like, oh yeah, first one pops up, I can use it, we're good. That's not the case. It usually has to go through a few filters, a few extra, things that I have to, put in or kind of calibrate and the whole thing. It's not perfect. So thinking that you're gonna get a perfect Endgame era looking movie with AI, you're going to be sadly mistaken. It's not even going to come close, and it's going to be easy to spot. People can spot AI very. I mean,
Oh yeah.
maybe nobody 70 and older can really spot the differences of AI and reality. We see that on Fox News every fucking day, but most of the people, millennials, younger, and stuff like that, it's really easy to spot what's AI. So them bringing that, they already got flack for it, like they said during the Fantastic Four ads. So what makes you think you're not going to get any flack for it come the actual, like, one of the biggest MCU conflicts, and you're gonna basically run AI through. That's like them halfway getting done with Endgame and deciding to go with AI for the rest of the time. Like the
Oh
game
no.
or the movie would not have been anywhere near as good. Your mic, I don't know if you're muted or anything. I can't hear your voice. I know
Really?
you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Um, let's see. Oop,
What's going on here?
maybe that glitch out or something like that
Microphone.
was the problem, or it could be my side again. But if you can hear me,
Yeah, I can hear you though, for
yeah,
sure.
you can hear me just fine. So here, hold on. It might be my end. Let me see. Let's see. Here we go. Technical difficulties. All Jaffo's TV style. I like it. So,
Well, you really don't want to cut your staff in like that way. I mean, I don't think AI is the answer for everything. For me, as
hear me?
monthly contract.
There we go.
Yes, we're
That's a
good.
quick. Yep, we're good. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know that, and it's not even really just that, because they're talking about like the comics and the anime aspects of everything too.
Oh no.
So it's
Oh
like
no.
you're not just gutting, the MCU itself, you're cutting everything. and
Well,
and Marvel has been Disney's like cash cow this last what decade?
Yeah.
decade and a half, almost 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the route you're going to go. Out of all the things that Disney owns, you're going to gut your cash cow. How about you gut some of the pundits on ESPN? How about that? How about you get rid of some of the talking heads that just do this but actually know nothing? How about we do
Right.
that? How about we go into some of these other projects and stuff like that that obviously have not been working out for Disney, no matter how much they try to fucking hammer it, and gut that. Why
Yeah.
would you even remotely now? If it's overinflated, you have way too many people for the job because again, you're kind of you're crunching down on the amount that you're putting out there. I mean,
Yeah.
Feige did, we want quality over quantity. We don't
Mm-hmm.
want to just, he went out and said that, which makes sense. Okay, you want to put out 2 movies and maybe a show or two per year instead of 6 to 7. Cool, that's
Makes
fine.
sense.
It leaves a little bit more, to the imagination, a little bit more
Yeah.
hype to the things that are coming out. That's
Yeah.
fine. And if you have to, cut a couple of people and stuff like that here and there in order to do that, that's completely understandable. I can understand that from a business aspect. If you don't need that many people, you could either move and transfer them to something else, or I mean, you got to cut ties with the whoever the weaker link or the whatever it is. Now I know to a lot of people, well, that's not fair. I mean, certain businesses, especially when you're talking to multi-billion-dollar businesses, trust me, that shit ain't going to be fair.
Mm-mm.
And there's no point in having that many people on when you're condensing it down. So but to basically get rid of the entire team that has
Oh
been
no.
making you, the visual effects is what sells people on these movies. The acting and stuff, yeah, the acting can have a certain part in it, but it's the visual effects of these superhero movies that brings people in. And you gutted your whole team, the whole team, an award-winning team, and you cut all of them,
Yeah,
coast to
that's
coast, west and east coast.
mm. That also means overseas as well, too, huh?
Uh, more than likely, unless they keep overseas because these if it's a cheaper labor cost, they're going to keep it.
True.
So if you got overseas guys that have been working on this, but they're a lot cheaper to keep on than the ones that you've kept here in the States, then yeah, they'll do that.
Yeah.
That's nothing new that big businesses haven't done. So it would not surprise me if they're keeping the overseas departments open. But to basically gut your whole team is like, wow, you better hope that the AI that you're going to be using is the most perfect AI to ever be on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
You better hope to God that this thing doesn't, and you can't be lazy with it either. You can't just go
No.
like, oh, that looks okay. Like,
Yeah.
no, everything has to be like the fucking Homelander meme, perfect, perfect down to the last minute detail. It has to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, people are going to be able to spot it.
Yep.
It's going to be easy to spot.
Of
And if
course.
it's not up to par, you are going to get ripped for it.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
didn't see the reason to take out your whole department, for that.
yeah. But then again, let's see what they replace it with. Are they gonna hire maybe a smaller staff, or as you say, AI? I believe it's gonna be AI if you ask me.
Because you really only need, a handful of people to be able to run that.
Yeah.
It's not like you need an entire, you don't need 1,000 people to run AI.
No.
you know, it's to the effect that they're trying to do it. You maybe need maybe 100,
If
depending on
that,
what you're doing, if that.
and how big your studio is going to be.
Yeah, but it's just it's a bold. Those old dodgeball say it's bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for them.
I used that the other day talking to Dub.
You know, it's like, you know, if it works out and it still brings you in more money and everything else like that, then, you know, you can't argue the results
hmm
if the results come back and they're positive.
Yeah.
But if the results come back worse, I mean, you're going to lose more money than anything because nobody's going to want to come and watch anymore. Shit, maybe based off of this announcement itself, talking about oh, we're going to go the more technological route. People may just be like, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to go to theaters to watch this.
hmm
If people, especially if people find out that Doomsday and Secret Wars is going to be primarily AI driven, nobody's going to show up to the theaters for it. Not one. I mean, there's going to be a few, but if I mean me personally, if I find out that Doomsday has been touched by AI and Secret Wars gets touched by it, I'm waiting for that bitch to come out on Disney Plus. I am not going to be spending my money to go to an IMAX theater to see AI made movies. Just not going to do it.
Well,
There's
some of the
no
actors don't even want AI. You
no.
know, they're not giving up their rights for that to happen. You're gonna they're gonna sue you. So that means you're gonna have to come up with new faces because you can't use none of the actors' faces because they're not allowing that. That's a whole lot of revamping and rechanging that you're gonna have to do, and that's like you said, that's a bold move, Cotton.
I mean, well, it's also that's something that the actors and stuff like that have been, you know, fighting against for a long time. You know,
hmm
studios have been trying to get away with certain loophole. Well, it's not them, so we can. It's still, you know, name likeness and you know the whole thing. You're still using the
Yeah.
likeness of somebody in order to promote something.
Like Arnold
Um,
Schwarzenegger in the Terminator movie when they AI'd him as a younger, the first Terminator.
yeah, it's like not gonna work. Not gonna
Nope,
work.
nope.
You know, there's a difference between, you know, CGIing something to look a different
hmm
way than completely going AI and it's not even that person.
hmm
Like that person can still act it and get CGI'd to look younger or older or whatever.
Yeah,
But if you're using AI, you're not even using a real person. I'm seeing that
that's
more in like the music industry and stuff like that right now too.
hmm
Artists and
hell.
songs, like I look at it and I go, oh, I was like, who's this artist? Like this, you know, song sounds pretty good. This, you know, artist sounds pretty good. You look it up, oh, it's an AI artist. What the fuck? Okay, so how are you gonna do that in concerts?
Yeah. Oh, you know how they did with at Coachella with the thing with Tupac? Yeah.
Oh, they're just gonna use the projectors.
Yeah. Mm.
See, and that's gonna open up a whole nother avenue of weird because people become fans of things, and it just you know how some people can get it. Yeah, it's just a whole nother level of weird. Um, it so it's like making the music and having these AI artists and actresses and actors and stuff like that. It's just kind of like, what are we really doing? And it
Mm.
really is a greed thing. Like
Absolutely.
when it comes to like these bigger companies and stuff using these in order to basically make more money for themselves,
hmm
it's like, okay, you don't I know you don't have the talent to creatively do it. I don't know. I know you don't have the talent to get up there and act in front of millions and millions of people and get criticized for it. But you still get that $1 million check in your goddamn mailbox every goddamn week. Yeah, I'm running the business. You're not really running shit. You're delegating.
Hmm.
You're not doing anything. You're just telling people. You take advice from the advisors and the people, the marketing groups, and all that stuff, and then you go, okay, that's a good idea. Go. I can do that shit. Hell, pay me millions of dollars to be a CEO for a goddamn company if all I have to do is delegate the work. You mean to tell me all I got to do is show up to a meeting, go, yeah, that's a good idea, go. And boom, $1 million check in my bank account? Hell, I can do that. I don't even think you really need schooling for that. That doesn't make it like it makes no sense to me. Like how some of these CEOs, you come in, just such a smart ideas and smart. Most of the ideas aren't theirs,
Yeah.
but because they give it the stamp of approval, all of a sudden it was their idea. They're the reason. Like, no, they have a team around them. Smart, real smart and savvy business people have a good team around them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Kevin Feige.
those CEOs will not come out and be like, "Oh yeah, it was my idea." No, we have a good team. We did a good, and those are the people who deserve the big bucks. The ones who can actually, you have certain ideas, but you have the people around you to be able to give you the right advice.
Yes.
You give them the credit for that advice.
Correct.
Going, hey, it ain't just me. It's this person. It's this person. It's this person. It's this person. Those are what good leaders do.
Mm-hmm.
Good leaders can be able to listen, understand when they're wrong, be able to delegate to the right people. So those are good leaders. The ones who listen to everybody else, put their stamp of approval and say, "Yep, that was my idea, Elon." Yep. Those are the type of people that they're not good leaders.
No, not at all.
Half the time, they're just not even good people. They've stepped on a lot of people in order to get to where they got to. All these people who come up with these great ideas, the behind the scenes people who deserve the spotlight that get basically shit on, because they're not the household name.
Yeah.
People whose ideas get taken on a daily basis. It just, seeing stuff like this, it makes me look at it and go like, man, I mean, I don't think this is going to help Disney really at all. I think this is going to hurt them more than anything because again, I would not be surprised if you get
Excuse me.
another like a SAG strike.
Ooh.
I would not be
Yeah.
surprised if you get something to that extent with the actors, writers, produce the whole thing doing a strike, saying "fuck that." Like the hell you are going to be making AI for all of Hollywood and everything like that. You're not going to be using my likeness. You're not going to be using my
Absolutely.
voice.
Nope. My face. Nothing.
You're not going to use shit. You're going to need to create thousands of AI actors for that even to be possible, and nobody's going to show up to watch a computer that doesn't have that same human emotion.
Right.
It's just I would not be surprised we get a strike, a protest, some sort of lawsuit. That's going to come out against Disney and everything. That I would not be surprised by that. Like you can probably clock that within the next week or so we're going to get some sort of backlash. But I mean, I'm already seeing the backlash behind it now, and
Wow.
that's just based off of fans outside looking in, the comment section, the whole thing. There's already backlash in that sense. The backlash from the people who actually got fired,
Yeesh.
and I mean, who knows? Maybe even and what should happen is the actors who are in these movies and producers, directors, the ones who actually have the pull,
Yeah.
guys like Robert Downey Jr. and so
Hmm.
on and so forth, like the actual main characters of these stories and stuff like that,
Yeah.
they should be the ones to come out in the forefront and say, "Nah, this ain't cool. I'm not gonna film another fucking day until you fix this." If that
Well, I
means
believe
we
one
have to
big actor
set,
has came out and say it. Tom Cruise said you're not going to do that
you know,
to him.
it's just one of those. If that means that Doomsday has to get set back another year, then so be it. Because
Yes.
I'm not putting on a suit. I'm not reading another line. I'm not doing shit until you help out these people that you just fired. Either give them back their jobs or whatever it is that you need to do. That's what really needs to happen, because the only way change ever happens to these billionaires and CEOs is when you affect the pocketbook.
Yep.
When you start affecting their money, that's when they start switching things up. They don't give a shit
Mhm.
if the money is still coming in.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Somebody must be calling JP. This is what happens. But I agree with what he's saying.
Damn people fucking calling
Phone
me.
call. See. And he has to log out to log back in because he can't hear me. That's what happens. It messes up. But yeah, I don't think we're ready for a full-fledged AI turn. I don't know how I feel about it. I like the real actors. Gives you a certain feel. The actors they pull you in, and I don't know if AI is good enough to pull me in
No.
like an
I
actor
don't.
can.
No. That's the thing. When you're talking about compute, AI can give you visuals, but AI doesn't have the soul, if that makes sense.
Well, that's what they taught you in iRobot. When the little girl was going down, it said your life was more worth saving than hers because her percentage or something like that. A human would have continued to swim
Yeah.
and go get that person if they could.
Yeah.
So that showed you the different balance of that.
It's like we've had plenty of movies describing this dystopian style world, and yet we're going in that direction anyway, as if we haven't learned anything.
Well, what was
It,
the
it,
one that the only one that came close to having feelings because they did something was the movie with Robin Williams, was it Bicentennial?
yeah, Bicentennial
Yeah,
Man.
that's about the only one, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, and that's a scary thing all in itself. If AI can develop a soul, develop human emotion, that's when things get real scary.
Hmm.
That's when things are going to be like, okay, because now you've developed human emotion, and knowing us humans and how emotionally destructive we can be, AI
Oh
going
hell,
like, oh, I'm smarter and better than all of y'all. Yeah, I'm just going to just
what's
tear this shit up.
what's the movie that they made with that Megan
I
right
mean,
there?
shit,
She had
Terminator.
emotions. Uh,
Terminator should really kind of show
That
you.
should, yeah. And I believe in some Skynet shit.
No,
I can
yep.
shit.
That could, I mean, again, in the route that we're going, it
But
wouldn't
what
be
about all?
surprising.
I've always said this: if somebody can think of it, shit's in happen, or it's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
How can you think of an alien movie
If
if
it can
you
be
ain't
imagined, it can be done.
absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely?
that's the power of the human spirit, people.
Hmm.
Humans in general have a willpower about them to make the impossible possible. A lot of the inventions, a lot of the shit that we see nowadays, back then would be deemed impossible.
Hmm.
There's no way you can do that. There's no way you can do this. And yet here we are.
Yep.
It's just like Mizzle just said. If it can be thought, it can be done.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of figuring out the way to get to that.
Hell, RoboCop.
Fucking Melania's dumbass just walked out not too long ago with a fucking robot next to her talking about in-home teachers, AI teachers. If that wasn't a scene out of iRobot or Terminator, I don't fucking know what was. Oh yeah, we can put these AI robots in every house so they wouldn't have to go to school. They can just be self-taught at home. That's stupid.
Because
First
guess
of
what you're
all,
taking away? Because interaction. Kids need
socialization.
interaction. They need that socialization.
Yep.
I honestly, I may have hated school, but I'm glad I went to school to be sociable. I
You
didn't
learn
feel like I
shit.
would exactly. You
And
know,
it's that's the thing. That's the thing about school. Like people look, oh, they just teach you how to basically be a robot and be a yes person. They're basically grooming you for the factories and everything. I was like, that's true to a certain extent.
hmm,
Like basically you're at school for an 8-hour shift.
it's
You're
work.
getting yourself. It's work. You're learning that like you have to get tested. You have to do the whole thing. Like it is preparing you for work life of what it's
Yeah,
gonna kind of be like once you get older.
absolutely.
But what they leave out is the street smarts aspect of everything.
Mhm.
The socialization and your interaction with your peers will prepare you, or hopefully prepare you,
Yeah.
for what's to come in the future.
Hmm.
And homeschooling is great to a certain extent. When if you have people who actually know what they're doing when it comes to teaching their kids and stuff like that, the right things, history, math, whatever the hell it may be. But the thing that the homeschooling lacks is that social experience.
Oh, my
I used to,
kids hated it. COVID, when COVID had, they had to do that home. They hated it.
yeah, just like you can't hang out with your friends, you can't
Oh,
do, and then a lot of the kids who get homeschooled, it's social awkwardness.
hmm,
They don't know how to deal with things. There's certain pressures of certain things and all that. Like there's decisions that need to be made that you don't get in homeschooling like you get in school.
yeah.
School is a lesson not just for the books, but for the brain and for really the soul. School is gonna kind of teach you what you may or may not be when you get older. It's like, is this the path I want to take, or is this the path I want to take? And I'm not even talking about what you want to do as a career, just being like a good person in general. How are you going to deal with bullies? How are you going to deal with somebody who's actually just being a dickhead and stuff like that? Are you going to walk away, or are you going to actually do something about it?
Hmm.
Are you going to deal with certain problem? It's There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that go into it, and with AI, and it's kind of taking the amount of technology that we have nowadays. There's no excuse for anybody to be stupid. Like you could literally just Google search something, and you should be able to know and learn some things.
Yeah.
But the social aspect, you can't Google that shit.
No.
You can't
How do I
Google
be a
how
good
do I deal
friend?
with this.
How do I be a good friend?
Yeah,
Well,
how do I be a good friend? How about, I mean, you can take the self-help books and all that,
yeah.
but I've always told people this: be careful when you do self-help books and all of that because they're really only giving you one experience, and that's the author's experience with certain things is what they're writing about. Now, you mean to tell me that author has literally spoken to all 7 billion people on this planet and gotten everybody's experience and stuff like that, and this is what the general, no, like the general thesis of what they're talking about is only probably talked to with what, 100 people, if they're lucky, 1,000. It's just, you're not talking about full on society. Everybody deals with shit in a different way. Everybody goes through certain problems and all that stuff differently. So
Yeah.
everybody handles things differently. And in the same breath, in certain place, to where people feel like, and I've done this plenty of, you feel alone at times. You feel like nobody can relate. You feel like like nobody understands me. There's more people who understand you than they don't. It's just finding those people, being able to talk to those people. But still, at the same time, understanding that your experience is your experience. You can get ideas and, hey, how did you handle this? Well, I did it this way. That doesn't mean it's going to
It's
work
gonna
for
work for
you.
you. Yep.
It could, but I can only give you certain advice,
Hmm.
and it could work out for you or it can't. I'm not going to guarantee you anything. because my experience is my experience. Yours is going to be yours.
Yeah.
So it's just it. Now we're getting in a time where AI is being a real big driving force in a lot of things that people do. I have literally seen people either on TV. I mean, I watch the Bravo shows and stuff like that with my wife. I'd be lying if I said all those Bravo shows and stuff. It's all bullshit. It is all bullshit. And I'd sit here and talk with my wife saying they're fucking stupid. That decision was dumb. That was contradicting. That was me and my wife watch this shit mostly so we can pick up on negative social cues. Like I would be lying if I said watching these shows hasn't helped me identify bullshit in real life.
Yeah.
How people act, how people talk, how people move and stuff like that, how slimy people can be. Like there's some things that I could look at in real life and go, yeah, I've seen that happen plenty of times.
Correct.
I've seen this person do like all the ones who have their noses up in the air thinking they're better than everybody else, yet they have more skeletons in their closet than anybody else. Oh, I'm this, I'm perfect, yet you're the worst one out of all of them. Like the especially like the whole victimization thing, like, oh, poor me, I'm the victim in every story, even though I'm the one who started this shit.
Yeah.
Like, that type of stuff. Like, but I've seen people on these types of shows or on they're asking Chat GPT how to run their life.
Oh, no.
They're using Chat GPT as a therapist. Like
You might
that
as well
to
just get
me,
that
I'm
8 ball
like,
and shake it and ask questions then.
how do you can't people, I understand to a certain extent on how some people feel about therapy. I know a lot of people want to be able to do things on their own, fix things on their own, be able to say that I did it, I did. Sometimes you need that help, whether it's a professional, whether it's talking to somebody that you know. There are certain things that, as much as you would want to be able to do it yourself,
Yeah.
it's really difficult to do. And having said somebody to be able to talk to and just hear you out, whether it's you venting or finding a solution or whatever it is, just somebody to be able to hear you out in that process is helpful. But talking to a computer that has no human emotion whatsoever, and all the answers that they're giving you are based on compiled data throughout the internet, you're going to loop yourself into a hole that you're going to think, oh, everybody's like that. No, no. You have to, everything has to be done case by case basis.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
people like, hey, Chat GPT, how do I get better at talking to girls? You think a computer is going to be able to tell you that? Or is somebody who's actually been able to talk to somebody be able to help you? Well, compiling by the data, if you say this pickup line, it works 60% of the time. It's just like, y'all gotta really the human experience is not based off technology. And a lot of people nowadays, because of where technology is at, you would think because we have so much advanced shit that we would be smarter, but no, we become so reliant on it that without it, we don't know how to think. Without tech, without people doom scrolling, without what anybody like influencers and all that other what we cannot operate without the opinion of somebody else or the validation of somebody else. Social media has really fucked that for us. generationally, like that's really, we people can't go and people. Oh well, you're running a podcast, aren't you seeking validation? No, not really.
No.
We've said this plenty of times, especially on Jaffa's TV, on the All Pro Jaffas, on everybody, on Mizzle and Dub show. We do this because we like talking with our family. We like talking about things, and now if anybody wants to come in and talk about it, cool. But it's just like it's a show. That's why the followers and stuff, we don't buy that shit. That's all organic. People who disagree still follow.
Yep.
We had plenty of people. I was putting up clips and everything about this show from the last show we did. I got plenty of people commenting, "Oh, that was a dumb take," and that was a shit. All right, cool. You think that was a dumb take? Give me an example. Most of them can't. A good amount of them can, especially on this style of show. You got a lot of the. Actually, if this person and this person in this anime was a worse father than I went off and said basically my opinion that Goku is the worst father in anime history. And I got people going, "Oh no, he's not even worse. He's not even. There was this person who was worse. There was this person who was that." Okay, I believe you. I believe you that that's the case.
Still my opinion.
I'm going based off of what I'm saying. Now, if I'm saying, and I did go back and look at the clip, I did go and say, everybody knows Goku is the worst father in anime history. I should have worded that differently.
Mm-hmm.
I should have said, I think Goku is one of the worst fathers in anime history.
Yeah.
And that would have kind of cleared my slate just a little bit. That probably would have given me a little bit of grace. So that's on me, for sure. Because again, when that clip came out, I got a lot of people go, "Oh man, stupid takes like this and this." I'm just like, "Oh my god, whoa."
But you can also ask, where's the lie?
It's just, and then with the tournament of power thing that we talked about, it's all, well, he was, they were he was going to destroy the universes anyway, and Goku just happened to do the tournament. Okay, so he said to do the tournament the first time. So what was the excuse for the second tournament? I didn't hear that response. I got the response. Well, Goku did the tournament the first time, to basically at least make it fair. Well, okay. So here's the thing. In the first tournament, he basically bought all the universes some time and at least an opportunity to not get wiped off. The whole face of the universe. So he gave him a little bit of opportunity there. Cool. At least in that process, we can try and figure out something. It didn't matter. People were getting wiped out anyway. Goku just made it fun.
Yeah.
At least you had a chance to defend yourself. All of us knowing full damn well what universe was going to survive the whole thing. You're not going to kill the main character.
No.
You're not going to destroy the universe that this entire thing is about.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what's going to happen. All the universes are going to get wiped out anyway. It's just now we can fight for it. And then the second time he comes up, basically, "Oh, that was fun. We should do it again."
Right.
With then him going, "You know what? That was fun. Let's do it again." Brought everybody back for another tournament of power. That's not evil. That's not villain shit for y'all. That's almost Joker level kind of crazy. Like, bro, like it's like you just got done seeing what. So now you're gonna bring all the universes back just so they can get wiped out again. If once wasn't bad enough, that's like killing somebody, bringing them back to life just to kill them again. Like, that's evil. Like, that's villain shit right there. So that's what I say. Okay, yeah, he was gonna wipe out all the universes anyway, but he made the tournament of power. So I was like, okay, he mentioned it the first time. It gave everybody a defense to be able to kind of defend themselves and save their universe. Cool. There's no explanation for the second time.
No.
None.
No.
I haven't heard a good reason whatsoever about the second time.
Mm-mm.
So there's that. It's like, yeah, okay. And the father thing again, I'm still gonna say that like it's one of, so I can, at least relax some people's feelings out there.
Yes.
He's one of the worst fathers I've ever seen, just based off of what he did with Gohan. The guy who is trying to kill him, your son, and your family and friends, you gave a sensu beam to power up back to 100% power to fight your son, your own flesh and blood. You just watched your son get his ass kicked, and you gave the guy he was fighting full power. That's not bad, father. that's not that. I mean, shit. He didn't even try to intervene. Nah. Gohan's got this. What? I'm sorry if my kid's getting his ass whooped and is about to get killed. Guess what I'm doing?
Doing what
I'm
Vegeta
intervening. I'll take the bullet. I'll do whatever it is to make sure that my kid survives. No, Goku was sitting there watching with a bowl of fucking popcorn. Enjoying Gohan's getting stronger. Jesus Christ, man. Like, okay, are there worse fathers in the anime universe? Probably.
Absolutely. Yeah, most likely.
But a lot of those shit fathers were meant to be villains in those stories. We're talking about somebody who's supposed to be the main protagonist in your story doing this.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. I thought he was supposed to be the good guy. Why is he doing bad guy shit? All to test his own strength.
Crazy.
You would think the amount of times Goku has gotten himself killed, he would learn. But no, that's how stupid he actually is. That's one of the reasons why Vegeta gets so frustrated.
I'm saying, calls him an idiot.
The more I watched Dragon Ball Z, the more I understood where Vegeta was coming from. It's just like,
well, but also Vegeta did the same thing. He also let Cell get perfect.
But Vegeta was meant to be an antagonist at least at the beginning.
True that.
At least I mean, he has a story arc of him he still has moments of being a dick.
Oh, yeah.
But he's getting, he's slowly getting better and better and a little bit more on the protagonist side. He's more of like that gray area character than anything.
Agreed. Yeah.
I think Vegeta is more than willing to do bad shit in order to, but it's just now he got to a point where if he does any bad shit, he's doing it for the sake to save his family.
Correct.
Same aspect of Goku's doing it for his friends and his family and stuff like that, except Goku's not really willing to go to the evil side in order to do that. To where Vegeta is like, I will do whatever it takes, and if that means I need to do some bad shit to do it,
yeah.
If that means I need to final flash your ass out of fucking existence, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And Kakarot, you are not going to stop me from doing it. Well, he may, but but like that's just that's where my argument of kind of like worst father comes into. He's supposed to be your protagonist, and yet here we are. He's probably one of the main causes of all of the problems in the universe.
Well, yeah, because they all come to kill him.
And I did see that one video. It came up. It said, I sent it to you. All of Goku's friends are not really his friends. They were just former enemies that knew that they couldn't beat him, so they just sided with him.
Joined him.
Yeah. And I look at it going like, he's not wrong. He's not really wrong.
Piccolo,
finally made Vegeta another
believe.
Thing of Piccolo is a great example of why Goku is a shit father. Piccolo was evil. He was somebody who was hell-bent on destroying the world, on destroying Kakarot, the whole thing. And you left your son in care with him? If Piccolo didn't see the
What are we
light,
doing?
Gohan would have died a whole lot sooner. If Piccolo didn't realize, you know what? If I don't do this, Goku's gonna fuck me up. There was probably some fear behind that whole thing.
Probably.
It's
I
just
agree.
kind of, it's like you put your son in the care of somebody who was trying to destroy the planet. Oh, okay, gotcha. I mean, because Goku wanted to go and train. If that ain't some deadbeat shit right there, I'm gonna leave my son in the care of somebody else just so I can do my own thing.
Somebody that
Like,
tried to kill me.
like,
Crazy.
that's
Crazy
fucking
work.
wild. That's fucking wild. That's just like that's as if the survivors of Charles Manson decided to leave their kids in care with him. Like that's just it's you don't do that shit. But
Yeah.
and then so like that's what I say over Goku especially that's where I stand with him. Now, are there more, worse fathers? There probably is. I'll have to see them. I've been getting some examples like in the comics and stuff like that of who, so I can go and look at them. Now, again, if they are meant to be antagonists, I'm really not. Well, yeah, they're supposed to be the bad guy. Of course, they're a shit father. But the whole basis of me calling Goku the worst father, in my opinion, one of the worst fathers in anime history, is the fact that he's supposed to be the protagonist. He's supposed to be your good guy.
Yeah.
And yet he is the source of all of the problems that happen in your universe. So he's like almost an undercover villain without really,
Correct.
so it's that's where I stand on that. Now, hopefully people can now get an understanding. Probably still gonna get come after for it because that's how that's how the nerd world works. But hey, I find it entertaining, and it's
Hey,
nothing
I'm a
like
big
personal or
Goku fan,
anything
and I agree
either.
with you.
It's not like personal or anything either. Most of it is
No.
just kind of matter of fact, type of
Yeah.
stuff, which is
Get your shit
fine to
right.
me because we've always said, hey, if you can teach us a little bit more, that's great. I would love to
I
learn more.
always love to be proven wrong or taught something. That's
Yeah,
just how I
so
operate.
and now I did want to jump into another trailer that I just saw
Oh, okay.
that I'm super excited for. And I don't care what anybody tells me. The Japanese can do no wrong when it comes to Godzilla. Because the trailer, or at least the teaser trailer for Godzilla Minus Zero, came out yesterday. And I am beyond ecstatic. Because Minus One was
It was
excellent.
fantastic. Fantastic.
Such
I
a
might
good
need.
film.
I might have to find a way to watch that. Give me something. You gave me something to watch.
Yeah, 'cause that just fantastic movie. Even the acting,
Oh,
stuff like that, like was
when they were
just.
in the water on the boat and Godzilla was chasing them, and you just see his face above the water. I was like, oh,
And he
oh,
was little. He
yes,
was small comparatively.
yes.
Now in this one, he's gotten bigger.
Mm-hmm.
He's over time and stuff like that. I
Mm-hmm.
think they said it was 2 years after the previous event, and from what I was looking at, going like, man,
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna because they're kind of it seems like what the Japanese are doing with it is they're almost starting from scratch. So with
Okay.
Minus One, it was kind of like a almost like a going back to the origins of Godzilla type of thing.
Yeah, and now
Younger
this is what we got
years
minus zero.
and minus zero is now coming out 2 years later after that. He's
Yeah.
getting bigger now. So I would not because if I remember correctly, the first two or three films of like the original, like the black and white Godzilla and stuff like that, all he's doing is destroying Tokyo.
Yeah.
In Japan, like just going around, just blowing things up. His fight is mostly with the humans and stuff like that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as that's going on. But then over time, the monsters started to come in, and he started. I mean, obviously the cities were still getting destroyed, but then the humans kind of figured out, okay, are we going to side with Godzilla, or are we going to side with the monsters who are trying to kill them? And they decided to side with Godzilla. Friendship happens. The whole, the story, history has been written. We already kind of know what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking with this one, or at least with -1 now -0, how that's going to turn. It started like a bit of an origin story there, and then now he's getting bigger. Now he's coming into the States, because at the end of the trailer, he walked by the Statue of Liberty and was towering over it.
Yes.
To whereas in the previous film, he was maybe either the same size or a little bit smaller than the Statue of Liberty. Still big as shit comparatively to, especially like the buildings and stuff like that were around. I love how they did his atomic blast, by the way. How they redid it. It's not just that beam anymore. The beam ends, mushroom cloud comes. Like it's an actual atomic bomb that he's releasing, which I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. I like how they're doing that. So, and the way they built it up with the spikes coming out, from the tail at the bottom going all the way up, kind of like the OG one was. So I was just kind of like, I'm looking at the story going like, they're probably going to they're modernizing the old films. So they're taking, the bits and pieces of the old black and white films, and they're modernizing it for the newer generation.
Yes.
And I mean, the Japanese, they did those. They did, they did -1 on a was it $100 million budget?
Something
Maybe
like
less
that.
than that.
Yeah.
They surpassed big time what they got what they spent for it back, and then some.
Oh yeah, because I went to the
For
theater and
sure.
saw it.
But it's you kind of look at that as an example of, you don't need a shit ton of money, especially in your technology, to be able to create something just fantastic. And how we haven't kind of looked at that going like, man, we should probably follow suit. To a certain extent, whatever they're doing, it's working. So we got to be able to do something like that. I mean, I feel like the Japanese, especially when it comes to monster movies, Godzilla and stuff, they've always been ahead of their time. Way ahead of their time.
For sure.
People are just barely starting to catch up, if they even are starting to catch up now.
Yeah.
And then right after that, I get the, Godzilla Kong with Supernova, coming out next year. And I'm like, I'm excited for that. I'm just, I Godzilla, Kong, the whole dynamic. I mean, Godzilla for me is just, it's from a kid, watching it all the way on. Like, I've always been a big fan. Always been a big fan. I haven't seen
from the black and whites, not even just because of the new creation or the modernized. No, I watched the old school sets where you can see that the hanging,
the wires,
the ropes and stuff. Yeah, that's how much of a fan of Godzilla I am.
The fact that you could tell that there was a person wearing a suit.
Didn't matter. The story was great.
Hey, as long as it was entertaining, I had no problem with it. The only Godzilla movie that I hated was the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, the 2000 Godzilla. That's the only one that I hated.
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, I'll watch it if it comes on, because I'm a Godzilla fan. But it's not. That's not one of my favorite ones. Not at all.
And I love how
Godzilla being pregnant.
I mean, that whole aspect, I was like, well, there might have been two because they killed one, and then there was a whole plot hole in that whole thing that was just kind of like, one, you didn't really. I don't think that Godzilla had an atomic breath. I don't remember. I don't think there was no spikes coming up. The blue. The only thing that they hinted for that was when they were down the street, they were running away from him, and he basically roared, and it looked like he was breathing out the fire, but it was really just kind of everything that was getting sucked, like the cars and stuff blowing up and stuff. So there wasn't really a whole lot of that atomic breath look. And I love how the Japanese, when they did like that Monsterverse fight, that they took
Mm-hmm.
Zilla, that they renamed it, and immediately killed him off by the
Mm-hmm.
regular Godzilla. I loved every fact of that. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
because that Godzilla should have never
Never.
seen the light of day.
Absolutely.
Like the lizard, more lizard look of it, and it just
Yeah.
it wasn't aesthetically pleasing. I'm looking at it going, even as a kid, I remember watching it going like, there's entertaining aspects of it. I'm not going to sit here and lie that there wasn't, but just the overall concept of where they were trying to go with Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a kid, I was like, this is nothing like, you know, the regular Godzilla. This isn't even close. And that was one of the things that I was worried about with the modern Godzilla that came out with the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was like, okay, how are they going to make him look?
Yeah.
Are
It's
they
all
going to
about
make
the
him look?
look.
Yeah, I was like, are they going to make him look, this tower like the old Godzilla? Like, how are they going to try and Americanize it, modernize it, whatever it is that you want to call it?
Mm-hmm.
But no, when he came out, vicious looking motherfucker, big legs, the tail, I was like, okay,
Just
I
and
like that.
bulky.
Yeah, you
You
could
know.
see. But Godzilla had a fucking 8-pack on him. Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Like,
Have
he's
you
like,
have you been watching Monarch?
oh yeah,
Okay. Okay.
oh yeah.
That
I
Godzilla.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
And
is
Kong.
just an absolute. And Kong now, especially through Monarch, I was looking at Kong going, fuck, when they first kind of, especially in the newer season when he came out, I was like, holy shit. I'm like, Kong got huge. I was like, he is so much bigger than what he was. I was like, well, that's great because it's showing the growth of every
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah.
So now I was like, Kong is about the same size. He's getting up to about the same size as Godzilla now, height
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah.
Um, so
What
they're
I like
almost like
about
an even.
Monarch, they give you a little origin to what the movies are.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got the movies, the Godzilla versus King Kong, the King of Monsters and stuff like that. But like Monarch kind of guides you right into those movies.
Yeah.
Like it's
They're like the in
fantastic, man.
betweens and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
this
great. It's a
fantastic, man.
Yeah, it's a great show. I mean, my wife is like, she's like, I can't take the acting seriously. I'm like, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Godzilla movies that people need to understand. Godzilla movies have never been about the
The
acting.
actors. No, it's about Godzilla.
The humans have always been just like a sprinkle effect on like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, the effect that they're having on the human population and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always been minimal.
Yeah.
The action is the monsters.
You're in his world. That's how they're
Exactly.
making it. You're getting it from the human side view, but you're really in his universe. And
Exactly.
the same thing with Kong. I mean, yeah, he has a little more interaction with the humans, but you're in his universe. Yeah, you're
Like
just
the
visiting.
balance of the world is based off the monsters, not the humans.
You're just
So
visiting.
the monster fights and all of that other stuff, like that's where it's all about. The visual effects and everything. That's like that's where you're gonna really reel in That's the purpose. It's the title of the fucking movie. Why am I gonna watch Godzilla and Kong, and the only thing that I'm seeing is the interaction between the humans?
Yeah.
You can't title it Godzilla and barely show Godzilla. You can't title it King Kong and barely show Kong. It doesn't work. People are there to see the monsters fight. That's what they're there to see. That's the understanding when you go into these movies. The
Mm-hmm.
fighting between the monsters is where we're at. That's what we want to see. The drama between everybody else is secondary. It may not even be secondary. Like nobody gives a shit about the human drama.
Yeah.
It's all about the monster fights.
And that's the what I liked about. I can't remember what Godzilla it was, but where they were tracking Godzilla and they were trying to help him
Mm.
with the Asian guy. I can't. Which Godzilla was that? Um, damn it, I can't think of which one it was. It was Ryan, the guy from Malcolm in the Middle, the dad, he was in this one.
Oh, that was the first modern one.
Yes.
The very first modern
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one that they did a good job with that one.
The line of "let them fight." Yeah, motherfuckers, I don't want to see y'all no more. I want to see the fight. That's what I want to see.
Yes, they followed the
I
pattern
don't give
right.
a
We're
shit
just
what the
gonna follow them.
military is doing at the bottom. They have nothing. They're not going to do anything. We have seen time and time again. There is nothing that the humans can do to stop what is going on.
Missiles,
They
you can try
tried to
missiles,
blow it up
big
with an
guns.
atomic bomb. Didn't work. That's
That
your
was in
biggest
Monarch.
weapon. We know it doesn't work. You think bullets are going to work? Fuck no.
Yeah. Well,
You think
actually,
a
the
tank?
atomic bomb helped them grow.
Exactly. It made the situation worse. The best weapon, our last resort weapon, couldn't do it. It made the motherfucker stronger. So what makes you think that anything man-made is good? And that's the point of the show. There is nothing man-made that can stop it.
Yep.
Nature will always win.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing that humans can do to be able to stop nature. Natural disasters and stuff like that, we can build all the shit we want. We will never be able to defeat Mother Earth. That is the point. That's why there's the balance of everything.
Mm-hmm.
The balance of the animal kingdom, essentially. Without one, there is no other.
And right now,
With all the
Godzilla's the
things,
king.
it's all, oh, when these fights happened and they left, they noticed the growth of everything. It was like, yeah. When you destroyed the man-made shit, when you can see how much nature can grow and thrive without us, it gives you a sense of an idea that this world does not need humans in order to survive. That's the whole point. So that's where Godzilla is almost acting like the right-hand man of Mother Earth. Essentially. The only things that the humans have been able to do, especially in the Godzilla, is make Mecha Godzilla.
And how did that work?
Yep, saw how that worked.
Mm-hmm.
In the OG films and in the new film.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a powerful adversary for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, there is nothing man-made that can defeat nature. None. You, you can blow things to smithereens. It'll be a desert. All right, you can have a desert, but guess what humans can't survive in? A desert.
Without water and food.
But guess what can survive? The desert.
And King Kong.
It's just
Hell, even Kong and Godzilla got respect for each other after that fight they had.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and I tell people, I was like, the Godzilla versus Kong, or at least the first one, before they started like teaming up and everything.
Yeah.
Godzilla whooped Kong's ass every fucking time.
In the first one, yes.
There wasn't even a like, oh, it was split down the middle. No. Kong got his ass handed to him every time that he fought Godzilla.
And he knew it.
But could Godzilla have beaten Mechagodzilla without Kong's interference? No.
I don't think so.
There was that balance towards things that needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that respect between Godzilla and Kong. Now, if there's no other adversary, it's on sight. We're fighting each other.
Absolutely.
But if there's something else that we need, I'll team up with you for now.
Yep.
But you come to my spot, or I come to your spot,
fucking you up.
We're fighting.
Yep. And you saw the respect. They looked at each other and gave it to him. Just
exactly.
I get it. I get it.
You got your side. I got my side. We respect each other's space.
Mm-hmm.
When we need to come together to get rid of whoever the fuck it is that's ruining our peace, we can do that. Yep. But at the end of the day, you keep your ass on Skull Island.
Yep.
And I'll patrol the waters.
Mm-hmm.
You come out of Skull Island, I'm going to know it, and I'm going to come find you where you're at and fuck you up.
Just like in part one or part two, which was part two when it was part one.
And Godzilla was like,
the audacity.
like, this motherfucker thinks he can actually fight with me.
The
Like, no.
audacity.
It's like, I am the king of the monsters.
For a reason. For a
King
fucking
Ghidorah
reason.
could not fuck with me.
Hello.
All right? Like, there is no other monster on this planet that can fuck with me. That's why they all bow down when they see the god walk in.
Godzilla for a reason. Did you see that? Hear the name.
Kong's got a little bit of a pride issue, but he does have
Yeah.
an understanding of, all right, you're the one, you're the guy,
For now.
you know, until I can get bigger and stronger and stuff like that, you know, because, you know, primate minds smarter than any other animal in the animal kingdom.
Facts.
You know, so as Godzilla gets older and stuff like that and grows stronger, there could be that possibility that we get that fight again and the tables will get turned a little bit differently. Because I'm pretty sure in the original Godzilla versus Kong movie, Kong won, killed Godzilla. I think it was fucking mouth like that. I'm pretty sure that's how that went down. So obviously in this first one that happened, that was my main concern going, okay, you're not going to be able to have any more Godzilla movies like this if that's how it goes down.
Correct.
You may be able to have a couple of more Kong movies and stuff like that, but the idea of Monarch and everything kind of it all centers around Godzilla. So you can't really have that if you kill off Godzilla immediately. So what are you going to have to do? Basically, Kong, still in his what most would consider his adolescence, pride getting the best of him. He thinks he can handle Godzilla. Godzilla's like, nah, dude, I've been doing this way longer than you have ever been around. Your family, whatever, yeah, that was cool and everything. You know, they were there, but there's a reason why my family ruled this shit.
You're right.
You know, now as they get older, Kong gets smarter, wiser, and stuff like that. There's, you know, things could go differently, but at the end of the day, again, it centers around the king. The king will always reign on top. You know, there's it out of all of there's, you know, with the MonsterVerse and stuff. I have yet to meet one person who has said Kong is better than Godzilla in every way, because it's just not true. There has been a double, if not quadruple, the amount of Godzilla movies than there have been Kong movies. And in those King Kong movies, there's really only been one story that they told up until just recently. And that's him coming to New York, has the, you know, woman in his hand, climbing the Empire State Building, getting shot. Think about this. Kong got beat by the humans.
True.
He got knocked off the Empire State Building and killed by the humans. Godzilla would never. One, Godzilla would knock out the Empire State Building. Two, there was nothing that the human, and there still is nothing that the humans can do in order to beat Godzilla. So now that they've kind of gone away from that story of Kong and kind of made him a little bit more of an intricate part of that said MonsterVerse, I like it. I like what they're doing with it. Again, that respect factor, you know, team up. There are certain things that Godzilla, yeah, he met, and this is where I'm saying, like, maybe somewhere down the line they'll revisit, you know, Godzilla versus Kong, because Kong will start to get that pride of, motherfucker, you haven't been able to do shit without me. Whether that's true or not, you've been having more problems than everybody, and it's taken me to come in and save your ass for you to win. It took me for you to beat Mechagodzilla. It's probably going to take Kong to help Godzilla when it comes to, if if I'm correct in who they're going to fight, it's going to be Space Godzilla.
Oof.
He's going to need some help there because even fighting Space Godzilla in the original ones, Godzilla had help. Mothra, and a couple of other the monsters or whatever who helped him out in that situation. So there have been instances where, yes, Godzilla cannot do it by himself. He's had help in one way or another. So that is going to get into Kong's head going, so when are you going to start doing things without me? You say you're better than me. You say you can beat me. You can do. There's nothing I can. The whole thing, and yet you need me more than I need you. Because when has Kong ever reached out for Godzilla for help?
Not that I can think of. Could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Because I think it may have been during this last one with the new or that
The red monkey.
Yeah, but even then, Godzilla took out basically the help around the Skull King. Kong took out Skull King by himself. So that's what I'm saying. You're going to have that a bit of an ego trip with Kong going like, I don't really need. Yeah, I could use your help in certain situations, but I don't need you as much as you've needed me. Now, that can also come out to bite him in the ass because the level of strength that Godzilla's enemies have had compared to Kong's enemies is above and beyond all in itself.
Yeah.
Godzilla has defeated way more powerful monsters than Godzilla ever, or than Kong ever has even faced himself. So there could be that false sense of confidence that comes into play, later on. But it could be, it could, I don't know where they're going to go. I mean, after Supernova, we'll see what happens, in the monster. I'm more kind of interested to see how with the Japanese version.
Yes, same here.
With -0 and how they kind of, because I want to see what the Japanese do with the modern monster clashes. Because if what we're seeing with like the Americanized version, if those look like, man, I love the visuals and everything, the fights are looking good, I can only imagine what the Japanese are going to do.
Oh, man.
I can only imagine what that's going to come out to.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. This -0 one that's coming out, I think I'm chomping at the bit to be able to see that one. When that comes out, that might be another family movie we got to go to for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw the first one in the theater and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it was very good.
And then with Mortal Kombat 2 coming out,
Oof.
And they've already approved
the third one,
screenwriting and production for the third one. So that's telling me, and it said that the pre-screenings that they have shown for Mortal Kombat 2 has been beyond positive.
Phenomenal, huh?
Good enough to where they decided to greenlight 3 already without 2 even being in theaters yet.
Well, the first one did very, very, very well. So.
Yeah. So this second one is going to be. I mean, we've talked about it already before. I think I know where they're going with the story, or at least what story that they're going to follow. Because like I said, Mortal Kombat almost has its own little multiverse thing itself, different timelines of how things get ran. But if they're going to do it remotely close to, I think what they're building to right now is Armageddon. At least how I think they're going to go.
Okay.
Because with King Jared, the introduction of Edenia, and all of that kind of stuff that they're kind of doing already in the second one, tells me that they're already going to be building up newer characters. King Jared dying. Cole is more than likely going to die in this second one because And I only know that because they previewed him in the first trailer very briefly. And then in every trailer since, they haven't shown him at all. So that's kind of telling me Cole's probably going to meet his end at some point. We're going to get Ermac later on. We're already getting Noob Saibot.
Yeah.
So we're probably at some point going to be getting Sector and Cyrax.
Yikes.
Soon. So there's a lot of characters in the Mortal Kombat world that we still haven't seen Goro.
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah. So we
wasn't
still
he in the
haven't
first one? Wasn't he in the first one?
Oh, that's right. He was in the first one, but he got killed by Cole.
Yeah.
Which to me, I was like,
I was too soon.
Way too soon. So I think they'll bring him back and he'll be strong. So what they'll probably end up doing with him, since they killed him so early, they might end up doing it where they take his blood, hence creating the other two with Shiva. And right now I'm blanking on his name, but he's Goro, but he's like the tiger striped one.
Shit. King? No, that's Tekken.
Let's see. Goro siblings.
Damn it.
That's not even Ward. Goro. The Shokan. Shokan race. So they have Kintaro. That's who it is. So they're gonna, I think, with the death of Goro in this first one, they'll either revive him, which more than likely they could, because Goro was a very big piece, for Shao Kahn's plant. But with him comes Shiva, comes Kitaro, and King Gorbak.
Correct.
Now, I think that's where you were going. That when you said King, I think Gorbak was where you were going with that one. King Gorbak is Goro's dad.
Okay.
So he's the older, he's the ruler of Shokan.
Okay.
So we could either be getting Gorbak gets the news that his son is dead, and the humans were a part of it, and now he sends Kintaro and Shiva to aid Shao Kahn, and then we'll later get Gorbak later on in the storyline. But like I think they really need to get into that story because it's a very key story in that universe.
Correct.
We still haven't seen Rain come in. We still there's Master Baraichu. Haven't seen him come in. There's still Fujin.
A ton of characters.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters. That they haven't even so much as mentioned yet. So there's going to be a lot of, if they do it correctly, I think they'll lead into Armageddon, which then brings in the Adenia brothers with Taven and I gotta look it up now. God damn it! I know it's a D. Adenia brothers, Taven and Drogon? No.
It's like the first letter, right?
Dagon. That's what it is. So Taven and Dagon are the two. They are the main protagonist, antagonist in the Armageddon game.
Okay.
In that game, you play as Taven, finding his brother who has become, in the sense, evil at that point. They both have the dragon tattoos on their faces. Taven has the one facing up, and then Dagon has the one facing down. They're both the sons of King Jared. So it's just we'll see. I think that there's going to be a lot of buildup, especially towards Armageddon in these first three, depending on how much of a time jump that they want to do.
Correct.
We could be getting Armageddon as soon as 4, as late as 6. If production and everything goes well, and kind of how things start to end up going, we could get Armageddon as early as 4.
That'd be dope.
Because 2, they're going into basically the start of the tournament.
Yep. Look like they're in hell.
Pretty much. So they're getting the start of the tournament in 2. In 3, it'll probably start to be like, the tournament's over, but Shao Kahn is still hell bent on getting through Earthworld, goes against the Elder Gods' wishes, and the whole basically what the old school Annihilation.
Yeah.
Basically, what that was is probably going to be 3.
I can see that.
Moving on, so on and so forth. But I mean, number 2 is going to be. I feel like it's going to be great. I'd love the only thing is, and we've talked about it before, and I even talked about it with the wife because she loves Carl Urban. Great, he's good actor and everything, and I'm not taking the acting away from him.
No,
that's the one thing I'm not. It's just
wrong.
He's not a natural martial artist.
Yes.
Which for this type of film you need for it to work. Out of all the people that they could have gotten for Johnny Cage, you got an actor who looks wise and stuff like that. Looks wise, he's kind of there.
Yeah.
But how are you going to? From what I've seen from the trailers, the martial arts looks very, very stiff. It's very kind of like you can absolutely tell that it's choreographed type of thing. And I know I know all fight scenes are choreographed, but depending on the skill level of said martial artist that you are using, it doesn't look that way.
Yes.
To whereas Carl Urban in these trailers that I've seen definitely looks like he's going through the steps.
Counting in his head.
Yeah, exactly. You can definitely see hit this spot, hit this spot, hit this spot, the same. It's kind of fucking with me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because you look at all the other characters and it just looks smooth, simple, effortless.
Yeah.
And then you look at him and it's even his fucking stance.
Yeah.
Looks stiff and I'm not believing you.
How is he going to do the shadow kick? Is how it's.
And they hinted towards it. They didn't show it, but they hinted towards it. And that's the one that's the main thing that I was looking at it going like, and if he fucks up the shadow kick, oh boy, are they going to get bullied and flooded through the fucking game. They are going to literally have to do what the original Mortal Kombat did and just completely recast Johnny Cage in the next one. I mean, Johnny Cage died immediately in the second original movie. But the characters, other than Liu Kang, Katana, all the characters were different. Sonya Blade was different. Jax was different. Even Raiden was different.
Yes.
So like everybody was recasted other than Katana and Liu Kang. To where I'm thinking You may not have to recast everybody because again, everybody looks the part.
Spot on, yeah.
Everybody's spot on, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if Carl Urban if this doesn't pan out properly, I am more than willing to bet that come Mortal Kombat 3, Johnny Cage is going to be a different actor. And
Man.
they'll have to basically do a whole killed resurrection, different timeline, whatever it is that you want to do it. Because again, Johnny Cage is a very important part in the entire story of Mortal Kombat, whether people want to believe it or not.
And he's a very good martial artist, not just an actor.
One of the
very
best
good martial artist. Yeah.
There's a reason why they chose him to fight in the tournament. So, and his relationship with Sonya Blade is also, again, one of those very, very intricate parts to the story.
Yep.
So we'll see what they end up doing. I'm excited regardless because
absolutely,
I love myself a good Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh yes.
So it'll be very interesting to see, but hopefully it's done right enough to where even if Johnny Cage's character doesn't pan out perfectly, the rest of it will kind of make up for it. Because it kind of seems like, at least in the trailers, because they're featuring Katana a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that they're going to dive into her story a little bit of how she's Shao Kahn's adopted daughter. The whole thing that goes into that. Where Liu Kang is going to be more featured as like main character. We talked about it last time. He's going to be more featured as main character rather than a secondary type of guy.
Yeah, which is good. It's time.
Yeah, it's more than time. He's the main character. He's the main protagonist in Mortal Kombat. Without Liu Kang,
next to Raiden.
Yeah, but without Liu Kang, there is no. Because without Liu Kang, Shao Kahn would have never been beaten, and Shao Kahn would have taken over Earthrealm
quickly.
It would have been 2 movies and we're done.
Yeah.
3 video games and we're done and over with already.
Yeah, you guys have conquered this already. We're done.
Yeah, so Liu Kang is a very big, the biggest part in the whole thing. Raiden is. I feel like as important as Raiden is, being the mentor to the Earthrealmers.
Yeah.
He's still a bit of a background guy. He kind of works more behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Than anything else. Still a huge part.
Oh, of course.
Him becoming an elder god and all that other kind of, that's still a huge part of the story. But he also gets tainted and becomes evil later on.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. Again, there's so many characters in that Mortal Kombat world that are very important in one way or another, whether it's just for a chapter or for the entire thing.
Yep.
That they can go on with the Mortal Kombat movies for a long time if they do it properly.
Especially if it's done right. Yeah, especially if it's done right.
So I really hope that it's good. I'm liking a lot of the pre-screening, the pre-screening stuff of the. I haven't smoked in a long period of time, and yet I'm still having brain lapses. I don't understand. The amount of praise, Jesus Christ, a mind lapse for that word. Holy fuck. The amount of praise that it's been getting in the pre-screenings and everything else like that is good. I'm definitely liking what I'm hearing. I'm liking what I'm seeing. The stories and everything, especially with Bihan and Scorpion. How that's going to turn out. That fight scene between Scorpion and Noob Saibot is probably going to be the best fight scene in the entire movie.
Probably. They probably going to go out for them because, man, they got a hatred for each other. So
and I really hope it's one of those, like it's like a 10-15 minute fight scene.
Yeah.
because
Didn't it
it's
look like he was pulling out different people from him?
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to see it. But we'll see what happens with Marvel. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens with Godzilla. We'll see
So
what
can we?
happens with Mortal Kombat. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, we're here for it. We're ready for it.
Yes.
And I feel like I want to start implementing more like movie reviews and stuff like that to this as well.
Perfect.
So like if
Perfect.
we have to like go back and watch some movies and like do breakdowns and stuff like that, as I'm
I am with it.
like I definitely want to do that. But 3 episodes in, I feel like we've done a pretty good job, and
Mm-hmm.
just trying to find out some more footing, especially as things come in, more information and stuff. But being able to do breakdowns, and whether it's comic books, whether it's um, movies, anime, whatever it may be, being able to just kind of almost relive nostalgia of childhood to a certain extent, and then
Absolutely.
and then coming back and talking about it with everybody. It's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
fun time. So excited to see where the show goes. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us, and we will see you guys next time. For myself, JP, for the great Sith Mizzle here. Oh, next episode, we definitely have to talk about Maul for sure,
Oh,
and the Star Wars universe. So a little sneak peek onto
yes.
what's going to be talked about uh, uh, next episode. So appreciate you guys again.
Mm-hmm.
We love y'all. We'll see y'all again next time. Later.
Peace.